Hello again, students. In the last video we talked about petty cash or petty cash fund. In this video we're going to talk about a change fund. A change fund is very similar to a petty cash fund, except it is used when you have a cash register that you're operating on a daily basis, making cash sales, and you want to have some cash to start the day when you start making sales to your customers. So what we're going to do is first establish the fund, and let's say we wanted to have $200 in the cash drawer at the beginning of the day. So we would debit the change fund to establish the fund. We would debit the change fund in the general ledger, and we would credit cash, just like we did the petty cash. And we said $200, so that'd be a debit to the change fund and a credit to cash. And when that entry is posted, it would go into the general ledger change fund account for $200 as a debit. Okay? All right. So during the day, then, we're going to be making cash sales. And we also have a cash register which keeps a cash register tape. The cash register tape would have a total of all the sales for the day. So at the end of the day, what we want to do is count the cash in the drawer and make sure that it is the same or close to the amount of sales that we had for the day. Now, since we are humans, we are going to make human errors, so there may be some differences. If there are, we're going to use that cash short and over account that we used with the petty cash account or the petty cash entries. So we're going to count our cash. We're going to compare the cash to the day's receipts to see if we have what we should have. Now, when you're working problems, sometimes the problem will say there's a certain amount of cash in the drawer, in the cash register drawer. If the problem says the amount in the drawer, then you have to take out or reduce the amount by the change fund, because you're going to leave the change fund in the drawer, remember that. However, sometimes the problem will just say the cash received for the day is a certain amount, and if that's the case, then you use that amount to compare to your cash register total and make your entry. Okay, just wanted to point that out because you have to be very careful sometimes in reading the problems when you're working problems. Okay. To illustrate how this works, I am going to work two exercises, exercise 8.12 and 8.13. So let's take a look at those. 8.12 first says the actual cash received from cash sales was $114,850, and the amount indicated by the cash register total was $114,975. That would mean your total sales for the day. So if we receive cash, we know we're going to debit cash. So our first entry is to debit cash for the actual amount of cash received. In this case, it did not say what was in the drawer. It said the amount of cash received. And that amount is $114,850. Okay, we also know that we're going to credit sales because that's our revenue account. I'm going to leave a little space for any differences here. We're going to credit sales for the total on the cash register tape, which indicates our total sales of $114,975. Okay, when we compare those two amounts, we see that we had more sales than we had cash received, which indicates that we're actually short. So we take the difference, and that difference is going to go to cash shorts and overs. Since it is a shortage, it will be a debit to cash short and over. Okay, and that amount is $125. So now you have debits and that equal the credit that you have. You always want to make sure that your journal entry does balance. All right, let's take a look at the next one, which is 8.13. The actual cash received from cash sales was $32,730. The amount indicated by the cash register total was $32,690. So let's take a look at that one. We're going to record a debit to cash for the actual cash received of $32,730. Okay, we're going to record a credit to sales for the amount of sales indicated by the cash register total, and that was $32,690. Now when we look at our two amounts, we see that we took in more cash than we had sales, so we actually have an overage. We're again going to use the cash short and over account, but if you have an overage, you're going to be crediting that account. So we're going to credit cash short and over for the difference between those two amounts, and that is $40. Okay, so now the journal entry should balance, and these are the two journal entries that you would have if you are short and if you're over in your cash register with the cash. If you have any questions on this or anything else in this chapter, please let me know.